Hey, how you doing? Can I interview you for a school project?
Sure.
All right, so we're supposed to form a hypothesis on unmet needs in the current U.S. market, and my hypothesis is grocery shoppers in the United States are unsatisfied with the current process because they are unable to avoid the time-consuming task of grocery shopping every week. So, what are your first thoughts on this?
You're gonna have to repeat that again for me. That was
Okay, yeah, no, it is a
a
lot.
lot.
So I'm basically what I'm saying is the grocery shoppers in the United States
Hmm.
are fed up with spending so much time in the grocery store. The whole
Oh,
process of
for
grocery.
sure.
Every week it's like, do you do your own grocery shopping?
I do.
And do you enjoy your grocery shopping experience?
Sometimes less than others.
So you're saying you do sometimes enjoy it though?
Yeah, it can be, a nice relief from day-to-day activities.
Yeah. No, I definitely see that. You're the first person I've interviewed that said that. That's interesting. But so would you say there is a need to change this process and maybe because everyone has a busy lifestyle now.
Yeah, there's other times, when I go there around 6 o'clock when everyone's off work, running in there to grab stuff for dinner, and it's just hell.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, my so now that we agree that there is a unmet need, my solution to this would be a delivery service that they go to your Publix or whatever. After you order online, you see they're still gonna have the BOGOs, the deals online, so you're not gonna miss out on those. And then you're gonna pay online, and they'll deliver it right to your front door. How would you feel about that?
Huh, that's really interesting. You know, I guess that could be really convenient.
Right? Because then you could be online ordering it from work or from when you're in class or
Yeah.
whatever.
Huh.
Is there any problems you see with that solution?
Um, the only thing is maybe I forget stuff because I know I'm a very visual person, and when I'm in
Mm-hmm.
there, I usually remember things,
Yeah, no, that's
that
a
I needed to forget or meant to not forget.
yeah, no, that's a great thing to bring up. But I overall, well, I've noticed like when I go grocery shopping, I get pretty much the same stuff. It varies a little bit, but
Yeah.
and then sometimes I forget like, oh, like I needed this because it'd be cool to have it like an app per se, and then right when like, oh, you notice that you're out of ketchup, you can just add that to my list and have it
Oh, yeah,
saved
that
every
could be
week.
really convenient, instead of that once a week, oh gosh, what do I need?
Yeah, and then because I know some people make lists, and then they go get it. I don't know. I don't like it's. It seems like a waste of time, and I don't know.
Yeah.
But it'd be cool if it actually just ordered it right when I. I know. Then I've also heard because I know they do it up in Minnesota. I talked to a woman that said that, and then I was thinking, why is it not down here? A couple things I thought about is how would they keep stuff cold that needs to stay cold in the heat down here.
Would it be home delivery
Yeah, that's my idea. Yeah.
or just pickup? Just come to the store and have your things pre picked up.
No, I want to have it full service. I want them to save as much time as possible.
Okay, so yeah, how would you keep things cold?
That's one thing I have to work on. As right now, like the best idea I've come up with is using coolers. Like say they have 3 coolers worth of food that's on your doorstep,
Hmm.
and then the next week when we drop stuff off, we take the coolers back. So it's not like
Okay, I was gonna say using new coolers every week
no,
seems a bit,
yeah, you'd fill up your
wasteful.
house with coolers. Yeah, no, that's why it'd be recycle and nothing would go to it wouldn't be like a waste.
It's almost like a new age milkman.
Exactly, exactly, and that's a really good way to put it. So why do you think people are fed up with wasting time?
It's just things have become so modern and so busy, and so, everything's on your phone and instant.
Hmm.
We're an age and a generation of people that need instant gratification, and grocery shopping isn't something that we've really been able to cut down time on.
Absolutely, and that brings me to my next point: is do you think this is the next phase of groceries? You know how like Amazon just put out
Of the
sports.
drones and stuff,
No, no,
or
well, yeah, that's definitely down the road. But I'm saying they put Sports Story out of business because everyone's ordering their stuff on Amazon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they just sports
Very
stores just.
interesting.
So like, if it applies to consumer goods, why wouldn't it apply to groceries? That's my thinking.
It's probably, yeah, the next step in it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for letting me interview you, and have a great day.
Not a problem. Thank you.
Hey, how you doing? Do you mind if I interview you for a school project?
Yeah, sure.
So for my class, I'm supposed to, identify an unmet need in the current U.S. market, and my hypothesis is grocery shoppers in the United States are unsatisfied with the current process because they are unable to avoid the time-consuming task of grocery shopping every week. What are your thoughts on this?
What exactly do you mean?
Basically, what I'm saying is grocery shoppers in the United States are fed up with spending so much time every week just getting groceries.
I totally agree. I feel like going grocery shopping takes a lot out of my day. I have a very busy work schedule, and the last thing I want to do is go to the grocery store and figure out what I need to buy, and it takes a lot of time.
Yeah, so you would agree that there's an unmet need, and do you think it's just in the United States, or do you think it's elsewhere?
Well, I can't really speak for other countries because I haven't really traveled abroad, but I definitely think it's something in the United States that's a problem. It takes a lot of time. That time can be used for a lot of other things, like being with your family, taking care of your kids, doing tasks around the house. And I definitely think, I agree, it's an unmet need.
Absolutely. Yeah, because we're trying to figure out, who's affected, like what is the actual problem and why it's a problem. So yeah, we just tackled the who. So right, so I'd have to do more research on, say Europe or, Asia, how they do their grocery shopping, because who knows, they could do something completely different. So yeah, I think, right, you agree with that? It should be best to focus on the United States because it's similar,
Yes, because I don't know exactly how other
either
cultures act, but I do know for the United States, it takes a lot, and everyone goes
we all have
grocery
a busy,
shopping.
every week.
Anyone,
if not more. Some people do it twice a week.
and it affects a lot of age groups because even little kids, they go with their family. Teenagers,
you can't leave them at home. Yeah,
you can't leave them at home. Teenagers will go when they want knickknacks, and then when you're a college student, you have to go grocery shopping because your parents are no longer with you.
Yep.
And then when you become an adult, you have to go grocery shopping because you're on your own as well.
Yeah.
So it's a never-ending process.
No, and then even when you're older, when you're out 70s or older, and that's a big deal. Go to your
No,
house
definitely. When you get older, sometimes you can't even get yourself to be driving. How do you get your groceries?
Yeah, like a milk jar, that's heavy. Even the half gallon, that's for an older person. That's that's a whole other issue. And then the what? So what is the most frustrating part? What's the real problem?
Well, I think it's the time that you have to make for it, and it's not even the time because if you think about it, it's not like it's so many hours.
Because it's really not if you think
it's the
in
stress
long-term...
behind it. First, you have to go, and there's a million other shoppers trying to accomplish the same thing. So we all have to try to find a parking space. You spend 5 minutes or more in the parking lot trying to get parking, and then once you do that, you're trying to get a car, and there's a bunch of other people around. You're going through aisles, and you're bumping into people, and it's like
you gotta remember all the stuff you need.
You need a lot of times. I consider myself a planner, and I try to plan what I need, but it's hard because sometimes I'll forget my list because I have other things going on, and then if I know what I need, a lot of the times I forget little things, and then I'll go home and then realize that everything I bought can't even be made because I forgot the main ingredient.
Yeah, no, and it is frustrating, buying the milk every week, the eggs, stuff that it's so redundant.
I definitely agree with that. The most frustrating is things that go bad because I can try to buy as much as I can, like pasta and things that aren't perishable goods. But salads I'll buy, and if I don't eat it right away, I feel like I have to eat it because I paid for the groceries. I don't want it to go bad.
You're just throwing money away, yeah.
Exactly. And if you don't eat it, it goes bad, like fruit, bananas, all that. And then you don't want to constantly, because I do know some of my coworkers that actually consistently, they have children, go to the grocery stores because they want fresh produce for their children.
Yeah. So they spend more time.
Exactly, because that's very important to them. And you know, it's hard, especially like one of my coworkers. She's a single mom of 2 kids, and she has to go to the grocery store almost every other day to get fresh produce for her kids, and she doesn't have the time when she's all by herself and doesn't have anybody to help her.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So my solution to this unmet need would be to have a delivery service where you literally go online or go on an app. You can have save lists, for all the redundant and stuff that you get every week, and then have it delivered to your front door. What do you think about this?
I think that's a great idea. So is this going to be like cost efficient, or is there going to be any fees involved?
I would guess there would be, but I would guess like $10. It won't be much.
It's just the convenience.
Yeah, I don't know the actual financials behind it because I'm not public. I don't know what the margins are, what the how many we're delivering. Like if we're delivering more in that neighborhood, then the gas per delivery is less. There's a lot of financials to take into account, but I couldn't imagine it. Or like my idea wouldn't be more than like 10, 15 a month. And if you're spending an hour a week,
It's gas.
Yeah.
Basically, you're saving on gas. I understand.
So it would offset. I think it'd be cost efficient for the grocery
Yeah,
shopper.
I think it's great because I do know that there's some similar products, but they don't necessarily meet your needs. It's pre-made meals, and they tell you specifically what you need, and it only feeds a certain portion, so it doesn't meet exactly the consumer's need. Because I have seen other products that it's like, oh, make this meal, but once you eat that meal, every ingredient's gone. It's very specific.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things like milk and fruit, and that doesn't fit anywhere, that you just eat at random times, snacks.
Yeah, there's
that
no
no one really offers that. So I think that's a great idea. A service that you can order it online, because you also don't want like a personal shopper. If you can just
because I know some people in this area have that, but that's not.
it's very expensive too.
Yeah, that's not for the everyday person. Like your coworker. The single mother. Like she won't. I mean, I don't know her financial situation, but I'm saying like, for her, to say she's it just wouldn't be cost effective.
I understand.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't matter how much money you have. No one wants to spend money for like
that's,
that.
That's crazy. That's a whole nother level of having, because then someone literally shopping just for you, like that's got to be expensive.
Exactly. So I think that's a great idea. Definitely being able to pick what products you want to use and have someone deliver it for low cost. Definitely think that's something that Americans need. Everyone's very busy. Well, most people that I at least know, they're busy, and if they can have it deliver, I would definitely pay even $20 a month.
Yeah.
Even it just depends on what kind of service it is, but
Yeah, there's a lot of kinks.
and if you think about it, especially for those that their grocery store is far away, the service might be just as much as getting gas. So
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for letting me interview you, and have a great day.
you're welcome. Take care.